Okay, icebreaker question. Go-to karaoke song.
My go-to karaoke song?
Yeah. No, Dave's go-to karaoke song.
What is my go-to karaoke song? Oh, it's Just the Two of Us by Bill Withers.
Just the two of us. That's a good...
You can make it when I know just the new.
Well, you have
And
to know
drunker,
the words, Dad.
And the drunker. Well, karaoke gives you the words, Not that I can see them, It's like by then I'm... No, Just the Two of Us or...
Somebody asked me that the other day, and I really had to think about it, because I've never really done, like, karaoke, like, out in public, and so then I had to think about it, but I think I know which one I would choose.
What?
Grease, Frankie Valli.
What do you mean? Which?
Summer, and I see the light. We got a common thing. We got a feeling right.
Okay.
That one.
You're giving me, and do you know all, are
Grease
you singing the words?
is the word. That one.
Okay.
You were going to give me another one, though. What was your second choice?
Well, so that one jumped in there. I think I have another one before that, but it's going to have to, you have to give me a minute. That one's going to have to pop in there. So hang on for a second.
If you really want to bring the party down, Helplessly Hoping by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Everyone's partying.
Way to fuck up the party, dude.
Helplessly Hoping. It's like when Ellen did the lip sync battle on Jimmy Fallon, and she did Doris Day. Do you know where you're going to? And it was the funniest shit.
You'd have to run over and unplug their mic and go, "You're fucking up the party, man."
No, she was not. That was the funniest shit I've ever seen. And who else would think of that? Like, I'm gonna do you know where you're going to? But
well, when I was in high school and there were auditions, and I did a lot of musical theater, a lot of that, and the girls were singing this Whitney Houston song. Every girl came prepared with this same Whitney Houston song, and after a while, it's like they'd get up, the next one would get up, and the director would go, "Let me guess."
do you remember which song it was?
Yeah,
I feel like
it was the it'll pop in there again. See, I have a lot of stuff that's rooting around in there, and all of a sudden it's just gonna fall out. So
I know.
That's two
do you have
that
your
are floating
phone on
in
you?
there.
I gotta. It's.
No, you better not have yours on you.
It's not. No, it's not. How will I know if he really loves me? Not that one. Is it like a slower one?
Yeah, it's a slower one. It's
I have nothing.
It's where she's really screaming.
I have nothing.
No,
nothing.
No, this is completely off topic. Do you know what this week's episode's about?
Yeah, you said narrating, but you're...
I'm on the fence.
Yeah.
First of all, welcome to episode 10. And I think I named it something along the lines of, because I didn't make it over here with my notes, but I'm on the fence about.
He didn't make it from across the room.
I'm on the
notes.
I'm on the fence about narration, man, and that's supposed to be, according to some well-known voice actors on YouTube, that's the lowest hanging fruit for voice actors. That's the stuff you want to go for first. And I am finding that I don't know if I can sit and read 300 pages of something. I just absolutely, there's no thinking about it. I can't do that. There's no way.
What happened to our conversation the other night about you reading shit that you're interested in?
Well, I wouldn't mind doing that. Like a documentary, that's different. That's different. But I'm just talking audiobooks and narration.
Yeah, but if you're reading a World War II book.
Well, still, you're in the booth for 8 hours a day, and you're just having to keep up the pace and maintain this. That sounds like more of a grind. That sounds like a job to me. And I don't want this to be a job. I want it to be fulfilling and rewarding, and I want it to be hard work, but I want to do short bursts, I still want to feel like I'm acting. I still want to feel like I'm an actor. And that I won't feel like that. I'll just feel like I don't know, dare I say, artificial intelligence.
I don't know. I feel like I would feel like I was really retaining the information. I feel like a lot of nonfiction, you're going and you're reading and it's really hard. Because I've been listening to nonfiction and then I'll read fiction, so I'll listen to nonfiction books while I'm working. And like what I just read, The Dressmakers of Auschwitz. And I don't think I would have ever gotten through that if I wasn't listening to it.
I see. And they did a good job on the audiobook?
I don't know what the science is behind that. It's a great book. Like, it's a great read.
No, I mean the audio book was well read by the
It was
artist?
read by the author.
Oh, really?
And she had a really good, she had a really deep, and it almost sounded
Like Adele.
British, but also a little Irish at times. Like, it was really nice.
Oh, wow. See, that's cool. That's very cool. Some people just have this inescapable voice that you just want to hear read to you, like Ken Burns, like the Civil War. Any of the documentaries that I watch with Ken Burns, obviously he's got the unmistakable, I'm assuming Emmy-winning voice, but everybody knows that voice. It's hey, there's a documentary on when you hear that voice come on, and it's easily recognizable. But yeah, no, shorter bursts.
But it does, whoever's narrating, it does make a difference whether you get through it or not. Like, I started The Courage to Be Disliked, and I understand that it's translated from Japanese, but the guy that's narrating that, oh my God.
See, and that's the other thing. You could make or break that by, you could ruin a good piece of writing by reading it incorrectly or
I really like the
poorly.
I would never make it through that book just reading it off the page. I would not be retaining anything. I feel like I would get, it would just, it's too much. But the way that it reads out loud when someone else reads it to you, like,
So
Anyway.
Go ahead with whatever you were talking about. I'm all ears.
it definitely depends on the book. I think I would much prefer to read like my stories, my fiction.
I'm sitting here thinking, I guess I should. I've never listened to an audiobook for one thing, so I'm at a disadvantage here. And you would think if I'm even considering heading down that road, I should at least listen to one, because I bet you I would be intrigued by someone that did a very good job at it, that read a book very well, and sucked me in and captivated me for the entire length of the book. And I'd also be interested to hear somebody do it poorly, you know. But the other thing I'm sitting here thinking is, after that, like right now, I'm just trying to put together demo reels, different combinations of demo reels. And I do one thing that's 30 seconds long, and I'm editing it for at least another hour, getting the breath sounds out, getting the pops out, trying to make it meet industry standards that I have now learned what they want in terms of all the little things that they want, you know, that a month ago I was bitching about, that I didn't know what any of that was or what they wanted. You can find out what they want. They send you. It's in the fine print. And Daniel and I talked about this, and Sarah, on their podcast a couple days ago, where 10, 15 years ago, we wouldn't be having this conversation. They would want you to send just your raw whatever. Don't do anything to it. Don't put it through any kind of editing software. Just record yourself and send it to us. Well, that's, you know, and I'm sure there are still some that are like that. And you're right. If you get an acting job, per se, you know, if you get an acting job, and you'll be doing that under live direction. You know, there'll be a live feed open, and there'll be producers and directors talking to you and having you go back to a certain point and try that part a little slower and say it a little differently, and it'd just be like, you know, acting in a scene on stage. You're right. If I did read a book, I wouldn't have to edit that. You're probably right.
If that was one of your concerns, that's all that I was saying.
It is, and that's what I was imagining, is that if it takes me, you know, 8 hours, then it's going to take me, you know,
that's not your job.
24 after that.
Show up, say your lines, don't run. Sorry, show up, say your lines, don't run into the furniture.
Don't run into the furniture. It's not hard. Okay, yeah. So I did lose. I did. I'm sitting there imagining me having to do everything that I'm doing right now is what this is going to be like forever. I'm blinded by the complexity of it right now. And you're right. If I did do that, but still, I want to go back to my original complaint of being stuck in the booth for 8 hours. Just, and I'm assuming direction would be more like, you need to do that again. And you need to speed it up by about 5 seconds or something like that. It would be start and stop times would be very critical in that genre, I'm assuming. So that would be your direction, not, do it again and punch it up. But see, here's the thing, though. You would have to at least read it a couple times. And I just talked about this in the last episode where I at least have to be familiar enough with the material that I don't sound like I'm reading it for the first time off the page. So now you're talking about all of that dialogue that you ultimately hear the finished product. I've read that several times just on my own in rehearsal or whatever I think I need to do to prepare as an artist so that I sound like I'm talking to you about something I'm knowledgeable about. I'm sharing some information with you, but I'm not just reading you a letter that you could just read yourself. So
that's kind of why I almost like it better. I think so far I've only read 2 audiobooks, but when the authors read their own work.
That's cool. That's interesting. They'd be passionate about it.
Well, and they'd read it off the page exactly how it was written.
What if they have a really shitty voice?
Well, I don't think they recommend that if they do have a shitty voice, but this chick did not, and she did a great job, and I think that would be easier because it's your own words off the page, so you know exactly how you meant them to be read. But anyway, all of these concerns that you're having are all speculation. You'll never really know unless you try it. Because you might be stressing about all this and then go get a job reading a book and come home and be like, I could do that every fucking day.
Oh, you're right. I shouldn't, and I probably will. I mean, especially since the one guy said it's low hanging fruit, meaning that's going to be the easiest stuff that I can get on early on, and I've got to pay my dues.
Well, and why does it have to be so black and white? If you get a narration job and you do it and you get paid and you're like never again, then don't do narration anymore. Well, but then at least you'll know it's not like you assuming like, oh, I probably wouldn't want to do that. They've probably made innovations lately or whatever. Like there's a reason people are able to sit in a booth for 8 hours, not just people who are reading audiobooks, people who are doing films.
Don't forget though, at the end of the day, this is a business and we are selling books. Let's just say if I do audiobooks or e-learning, we're selling books because one of the options that I have for getting paid is not taking any kind of payment up front and just taking 20% of the sales of those books. There's 2 or 3 different options in terms of how a voice actor can be compensated. One of them is just give me an X amount of money. This is what my fee is for doing this, and you pay me that and I go away. I do it and I leave. Or there's one where you pay me a smaller amount of money up front, and I get a small percentage of the royalties of the sale. Or there's one where I take no money up front, and I only take, and then I get a higher percentage of the sale of the book, and I just sit back and hope that turns into residual income. But my point is, you get credits. Another thing that this business thrives on is the credits that you have. Every time you get a gig, that's your credit. And if your first 3 credits are 3 failed audiobooks, you have to be marketable. You can't just be talented. You have to have people want to hire you because when you read something, people buy those books. That is it's a consideration and certainly something they look at.
I don't think I don't think the average person thinks about that. Someone who I'm sure there's a percentage of people who they read audiobooks and they look at who's narrating and they look at I like his voice, I'm going to listen to what else has he narrated. I'm sure there's people like that. But some people are just listening to books to listen to books and they don't really think about it that way. I understand that it's a business, but also there's how many actors out there that are doing animated films or whatever that are not trained voice actors. Like there's some way. I just feel like there has to be some way that they've made it palatable for actors who aren't necessarily voice actors to be able to do films like that. I know it seems tedious, but I just think you don't know until you try it.
Well,
And you can't really make decisions and pick and choose what you want to do until you have done it and then know, oh, I
No,
really
I get
like
that.
doing these, but I don't really care to do these. And
that is good advice. I mean, obviously, that's good sound advice. I should try something before I naysay it. But I'm old enough to know, and I've had enough experience to know how, if I can imagine myself spending the day just in the booth. See, right now I go in for 2 or 3 minutes or a minute or 30 seconds, and I come out and I edit, and then I come in here, and then there's that I can do for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. No problem. Because I'm mixing it up, I'm coming in here, I'm sending files, and then I'm putting it into editing, and I'm just, I'm stirring the whole pot that way. And that is incredibly fun. It might not be the best way to be spending my time in terms of, if I'm using my time correctly and getting the most out of it. But I can imagine what it would be like to be sitting in there and having a producer say, we need you to be to page 213 by tonight.
I don't think it works
is like that. And dig this. And I know when you finally qualify for monetization through YouTube, there are places you can go. And they have this where you can go, and you're supposed to be able to just go in there and track your how much you're making on this and that, and the ebbs and flows of your money. But it also lets you know, it ties it all together. So if you put out some content and all of a sudden this goes down, this graph goes down, the money goes down, things dip down, and then you do other kind of content and then it goes up, that helps you cater your content. And obviously you're going to want to look at those graphs and go, well, I want to put out more of what people want to watch. Obviously if it spikes up when I talk about this or the shows that are like that or whatever, if they'd like the remote shows way better than the studio stuff or whatever, then you can cater your show to that. So you better believe when you the same thing's happening in voice acting. How
isn't all acting?
They all make it sound like it's hard. All the voice actor videos that I watch, I actually accuse them of being naysayers. That maybe they were just people that weren't successful in voice acting and are bitching, or maybe they are kind of successful and they want to covet the work for themselves. I don't know what motive, but really what they're trying to do is help you. The video is, hey, you got to be real about. I'm just keeping it real, man. I'm just keeping it real. I want you
just
to know
about
what this is
before you put all the work in.
But like I said, and I'm sorry I'm repeating myself. But Maddie and I didn't realize you and I hadn't talked about this. Did you watch the last episode? Because I'm kind of repeating myself here. Where anyway, that's kind of, I can imagine what it's going to be like to be in the booth, having certain deadlines that I have to meet and things like that. I think might suck the joy out of it for me. I'm not saying I'm not going to try it. Believe me, if somebody reaches out to me tomorrow and says, hey, we want you to read, okay, no problem. That will be my first gig, but I wouldn't mind my credits, my first credits and all my credits to be successes business-wise, because that's what sells you in this business. And you better believe they look at that. It's not just talent. One of the gals, I can't remember which website it was that I was joining, but they have this tutorial that you go on, and she's a bigwig casting director, has been for years, and in voice acting and looks for voice talent. And she said straight up, the audio quality and the quality of the production of it is more important than the performance, the vocal performance.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, and that's why you and I have already talked about this on camera, and I said, well, it's because saying the words and not bumping into the furniture we are expected to do. It's like the wide receiver that drops the pass. Dude, you have one job. You're expected to catch that. So we're expected to just be able to do that. That's not that's our job, man. I need to be able to do it 40 times. Some of the auditions, this is interesting. Like they'll give you a super simple sentence like, the cow jumps over the moon, and they say, your line is the cow jumps over the moon. Say that 3 different ways. And then you wait for them to tell you the 3 different ways, and they don't. They just go, say that 3 different ways. Action. Mm-hmm. And so there you go. And the reason they do that is because the cow jumped over the moon. That cow jumped over the moon. You say it 3 different ways, then they can pick one and go, okay, that third one that you did, that's kind of heading down the road where we want this. But how would you articulate that before that exercise? How would you be able to say, I kind of want you to be, light at first and then get deeper in the middle? And you can't direct that. But you could tell somebody to do something 3 to 5 different ways and go, oh, that 4th one that you did, that South Carolina one, that Southern, do it that way. And then you get it narrowed down. And then they go, okay, now I want you to slow that down, deepen your voice, and then you can start fine-tuning that. But yeah, man, that's for sure. So I'm on the fence about narration. It's about narration. And that's what I've been doing. I've been working on demo reels. I've got Daniel at Film Garage 208 helping me, and I've sent him one, which was just a dry demo, which meant no music, no sound effects or anything, just the sound of my voice. Mm-hmm. And then I sent him same one, and I did some orchestra sounds. So I sent him the sign. The sign. Mm-hmm. Just dry. And then after the second one I sent him, it had an orchestra warming up, the sound of an orchestra warming up before the show in the background. And you ought to hear it makes all the difference in the world. All of a sudden you see this guy leaning over people in the aisle looking at their tickets. I mean, it just completes the whole vision of this uptight asshole rousting these people for getting there late. But wow. And so now that makes me want to really, and that's what I've been doing since then, is experimenting with a dry version and then going and there's plenty of places to get sound effects, free downloads for sound effects and stuff online. I'm going to see where Daniel gets his. I'm sure he has a better place. You might have to pay for it, but man, unlimited sound effects, quality sound effects would be cool. Because then I would really start doing that. Going to get your own demo reel done somewhere down the road would be probably problematically expensive. However, I am going to have to do that someday because a voice actor, the demo reel is your calling card. If you don't have a really professionally produced demo reel that's about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes long, I don't know. It's got to be done. So I might be so brave as to try to do a dry demo reel, just me talking, because I think I've got that type of audio figured out. Mm-hmm. And then Daniel helped me punch it up with some lightning or creaking or thunder or a dog barking in the background, Or I could add sounds like people walking in the studio, like while we're recording. And they could be like, hello, hello. You know what I mean? It could be, and I could just add that in, So this is why I need to get a sign out in the hallway. This is quiet. But do you think that's going to make any difference whatsoever? Even if I had a lit up sign that said quiet, I can still hear that 18-wheeler right there. Nope, that's a motorcycle in January.
Divide 18 by 9.
He's probably got shorts on, flip-flops. Moron. All right, so yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, concentrating on demo reels and seeing how far I can go doing some of those myself. But boy, I got to tell you, the difference that one sounded with the orchestra warming up in the background, it just completed it. It just made it. Right now I'm going to do Bubblegum Bandits, and I'm trying to find a sound effect other than bubbles. I haven't had any luck yet, but bubbles, I've tried to stick bubbles in there. Wow, doesn't work. Right, that's what I wanted you to do.
Cattle in the background.
cattle.
Because it's like the Bubblegum Bandit. I think like old Western.
Okay, that's obscure, but
It's like a town.
the bubblegum bandits. I would think you'd be hearing like the sound of sticky bubblegum. No, I don't know. I'll keep looking. That's what I wanted your help with this afternoon. Was because I have a catalog of about 3,000. I'm on page 2 of 47 of all these different sound effects, and of course most of them don't work. There's doorbells and lightning bolts and whatever. I bet that has a filter. I should have thought of that. I don't know, man, where I'm headed next week. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing demo reels. I'm going to share some demo reels that I have finished, and I'll show the difference between the ones that don't have audio added and then some that do. And I also have some background behind-the-scenes footage that I will add this week of me going and being on the Film Garage 208 podcast. Thank you guys very much for having me, Daniel and Sarah. That was a lot of fun. I'll have you here on my show, and we'll sit and get to know them a little bit better.
We'll send you guys your check later.
They have a big event coming up, don't they, on February 10th? Don't they have a big a casting call?
Chandler Dye, who is
big time talent.
He go on his Instagram, and we'll link it down below.
Or the Film Garage.
The Film Garage 208. They're offering a you pay $150 and you get to go and you can pick your time slot on the 10th, and you come in, and I'm assuming it's going to be like cold reads, and you'll get your picture taken, you'll get your headshots done. So and they kind of just want to see what you got. So if you're in the Idaho Falls area,
well, we'll look forward to that. I'm going to go and help out, and I said I'd be there to help. So if anybody needs, I'll go run and get coffee or pizza. Or people will forget stuff in their car, and I'll go get it. So I want to be useful. I could help. I could read lines opposite if people are going to be doing anything like that. Maybe I could be the sarcastic grandmother in a scene. Anyway.
I wonder
and I need to make a correction. I should have done this at the top of the show last week. Man, I got to get this off my plate. This is going to feel, I've had a wait. Last week I said Kansas City was playing the Jets. I inadvertently said that Kansas City was playing the Jets. They weren't playing the Jets. They were playing the Bills. They played the Bills, and they beat them. They beat them. Kansas City's moving on. So I'm rooting for my AFC. Go Mahomie. You a Mahomie?
A Mahomie?
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. He's their quarterback, Kansas City's quarterback.
Kansas City.
So if you're
I don't know,
Mahomie,
isn't everyone, all the Swifties really like Travis Kelce? He's big.
So you're either a Swiftie. You know what I read? It's the Kansas City Chiefs are bringing fathers and daughters together because the Swifties want to sit and get glimpses of her, and the dad wants to watch football. So you get to sit there with your. I wish they had that when you were younger, and we could sit and watch football together.
I'm not really a Swiftie. Isn't that with John Krasinski?
No, you're thinking.
What's the one with John Krasinski?
That's Tom Clancy. He's I
thought he was Jack Reacher.
No, he's Jack Ryan.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Google.
That is not right.
He's Jack Ryan.
Is he? You might be right now that I'm thinking about it. You are right.
I'm right.
But I watched the first few episodes of that. And it is not John Krasinski's best acting work. I'm assuming it's going to get better because the show is popular, and so I'm sticking with it, but not John Krasinski's best acting work.
Did you hear what Robert Downey Jr. had to say after he won the Golden Globe or the Critics' Choice or whatever he won for his work in Oppenheimer? And he said, I did some of my best acting in the Iron Man movies, and it just got overlooked because of the genre. I didn't get nominated for acting performances that I gave during some of those, and that he says it's some of his best acting work, and it wouldn't even get considered because it's in an Iron Man movie. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that makes that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to join one of those casts if you're pining for an Academy Award. See what I'm saying? They're never going to give, Iron Man was never going to get Best Actor.
I know. I guess you got to shoot for like smaller, more indie films.
Well, you got to cry.
You've got to cry.
And other things. And Iron Man doesn't. God, Iron Man don't cry. What did you think of Saltburn?
I fucking loved Saltburn.
I knew you were going to come back and say that. So now,
have you seen it?
No. So now I've gotten 3.
Okay, wait. No, this is a hot take. Wait. This is controversial. Everyone is on fucking TikTok talking about Saltburn, and everyone told me not to watch it because they said it was gross.
Including your mother.
Okay. The negative 0.2% of the gross shit in the movie is just that. It's the negative 0.2% of the film. The rest of it is about this fucking college kid, this weird nerd. The acting is amazing. The set is amazing. The casting is amazing. This one kid never seen in my fucking life, and he's so weird. And then you find out that he's fuck crazy.
No spoilers. Don't spoil.
And the whole time, well, you kind of already know. And the whole time you're just like,
no, I don't.
You need to watch it.
I'm going to, but don't spoil it for me.
You need to watch it. I thought that was whoever wrote that film, produced, directed, amazing job. This is one other part where I was like, where he ends up giving him his bike and being like, well, take my bike to your thing and I'll take your bike back to school. And they don't know each other. This is their first interaction, these two guys. And he goes, stop it. And he goes, well, yeah, that took me out of it. But the rest of the film, oh my God.
No, keep going.
I'm trying to think.
I'm listening to everything you're saying.
I'm trying to think of but the chick from Gone Girl is in it, the blonde.
Oh, right.
I need to know her name because she's great.
Rosamund Pike.
Is that her name? Mm-hmm. Okay, and we've watched the I Care a Lot where she's ripping off old people.
Yeah,
the senior citizens. That was really good too.
She's terrific.
She is terrific, and she was really perfect for the role that she got in this film. The casting was well done.
Okay,
really well done.
Well, I'll give it a watch.
And the sets are amazing.